What would a loss mean for the 49ers?
Okay. This is a little more complicated. If they lose, then they're 3-4 with a lot of tough games coming up, Iggy. It
Dallas not
means
being one of them.
no, Dallas sucks. But I mean, Iggy, don't they have Buffalo this season? And they
Yeah,
have
and Green Bay,
Green
Tampa.
Bay and the Commanders and Tampa. They're going to lose. I mean, if they lose to Kansas City, it means they're the kind of team that loses to good teams. Minnesota, Kansas City, they'll lose some of those.
Not the Commanders, but they are playing Chicago and Detroit.
Oh, they're going to, again, a team that loses this coming Sunday is going to lose some of those games, maybe the bulk of those games.
Yeah.
I'm saying the Niners have a chance to redefine themselves on Sunday. If they beat the Chiefs, I'm saying they can win a lot of those games. If they don't beat the Chiefs, I'm saying they won't win a lot of those games. So what does it mean? They would be 3-4 and clearly not out of it. It's early in the season still, although we're almost getting to the halfway point. Mathematically, they'd be alive. Plus, they're probably going to win their division, so they're probably going to make it to the postseason. But a team that loses this game would get eliminated in the first round. That's what I think. They would define themselves as a team that is not quite good enough. Not quite good enough if they lose this game. So, again, I think it's a very important game for them because it means they can beat crummy teams, they can get beat by crummy teams, and they can't beat good teams. See you later.
Yeah. I mean, because look, the Chiefs have pedigree, they're champions, but this is the worst version of the Chiefs that the 49ers have faced. They don't have Tyreek Hill, they don't have Rashee Rice, they don't have Isaiah Pacheco, they're banged up, and they're not dominating either. Like they beat the Ravens by 7 week 1, they beat the Bengals by 1 week 2, they beat the Falcons by 5, they beat the Chargers by 7. They're not blowing teams out. And if the 49ers can't find a way to beat this team, I'm starting to feel like this version of the 49ers just isn't good enough. And you're looking at when they have to go to Green Bay or Buffalo or Tampa, like those are games they could lose as well.
Yeah.
Chicago
is surprisingly good. And Iggy, the Niners do go to Green Bay?
Yeah. And then they go to Buffalo the week after.
Oy.
Which feels like a scheduled loss because they're not going to stay out in the Midwest between.
Okay. A team that can't beat Kansas City would have a lot of trouble beating Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like you lose to Kansas City. What are you going to make a trade? Is Christian McCaffrey going to save you again? Like what's going to turn this season around? When are you going to start playing like an elite team? It's because when is that going to happen?
Well, what I'm saying is if they can't rise up and beat Kansas City, they're not an elite team. They're not. It means they would have lost to Kansas City and Minnesota, 2 really good teams. What other really good team are they going to beat? They couldn't even beat the Cardinals.
They couldn't even beat the Cardinals.
Yeah. They couldn't even beat the Rams. I mean, when we say Dallas sucks, the Rams suck more than Dallas. The Rams really suck, Iggy.
The Rams really, really, really suck. Only one team's beaten them was the Niners. Only one team they've beaten is the Niners.
Yeah. I mean, do you understand how embarrassing that is? Say they got beat by the Cardinals and the Rams. I mean, this is it. It's like wearing, the scarlet letter of L, loser, for those games. That's very bad to have lost. How do you rationalize those losses? Oh, the officiating. What do you say?
Yeah. If they lose, you're still like, what is going to be the catalyst that turns this season around?
Right.
And if they win, it would be very impressive. It'd be interesting to see how they did it. But it also wouldn't be a guarantee that everything's fine. It could be an indicator that they got it together for 1 week. Like they'd have to keep it going after this. It would be very interesting to see if they won this game, like how they would conduct themselves moving forward. Be very interesting.
Iggy, here's what I say, and I'm maybe a little more positive on this. If they win this game, they're going to keep the momentum going forward. I'm saying this, they can find themselves in this game. And if they do, I'm going to be very positive about them.
Of course, I'll be too. I can't forget the fact that last year this played out with the Eagles. The Eagles were 8-1. They went to Kansas City off a bye week. They beat them 21-17, and then they went 2-6 the rest of the way. They just fell apart. So it's a huge game, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee anything if they win or lose. It's one game.
That's right. You know what? You're making a very good point. A loss doesn't guarantee anything, and a win doesn't guarantee anything, but it sure shows important trends.
Abso-freaking-lutely.